Hey guys! So today I'm gonna film my June wrap-up and it's ridiculous. I literally read 24 things in the month of June. So let's just get into this. So the first thing I read in June, I read on my Kindle, and I read Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider, which is like the first book in like a long series, but it's like trilogies, but they're like together. I don't know, it's confusing. Anyway, but I really enjoyed it. The characters were really amazing, and I understand why people like it so much, because it's definitely really great, and I don't know, I really enjoyed this story. And I was reading it over a few days. But yeah, Yelena was really cool. And I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I am definitely gonna continue on just whenever I can get the next book. I'll probably end up getting it from my library more than likely. I need to see if they have it on that or on Overdrive, so need to look into that. The next book I read was because I participated in the Emoji-a-thon this month, and if you know, the Emoji-a-thon is run by Dylan the Reader, and his favorite book is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. And one day I went to Books A Million and I got this, and I ended up reading it. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I completely tabbed it up because it's fantastic. Like, it's really fantastic. And I completely understand why it's his favorite book, because it totally, I don't know, it's really, really good. It's so good. And I really thought that this wasn't something I'd be into, because it's got like a alien storyline where like the main character is being abducted by aliens. I never really am into like alien things. I don't really like aliens. I'm kind of like, So I was really surprised at how much I actually really enjoyed this. And this has an LGBTQIA plus main character in it, which was great. And yeah, this is just a really strange book, but it really works. Like, you wouldn't think that it would work, but once you read it, like, you totally understand like why. And it just, I don't know, I really enjoyed this, and I'm really glad I read it, and everybody should go read it, because, you know, it's great, and Dylan's not wrong. This is fantastic. So yeah, and I'm happy that I read it, and I'm definitely gonna probably try to pick up some more of Sean David Hutchinson's work, because I know he also wrote this book, I think that it's called The Edge of the Universe, and I've seen other people talk about that and say that that's really good as well, so I might have to look into getting that from like my library or something. So yep, yeah, I got that like in May. I think it was like with birthday money, so, but I'm glad I own it, because I feel like I'll probably reread it, at least the tabbed up parts for sure. The next thing I read, I got from my library. Oh, there's a bunch of library and Kindle books in here, just like, so I don't have a lot to like show you like up, so sorry. But I read the poetry collection, The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace, and I read it in like 30 minutes while I was at work one day, because I took it with me. And I took a bunch of pictures of pages on my phone so I could like reread them later on. And it was so good. Like, so many of them like really spoke to me, and like really reminded me of stuff that I've gone through, and I don't know, it was just some of the stuff that I've been through and these experiences and everything, they were so perfectly put into words in these poems and stuff, and they were just so easy to read. Like, they were really beautifully written, but they were easy to understand. They weren't like Paradise Lost or something like that. Like, you could easily understand it, and I really appreciated that, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And I feel like any woman, like, I mean, really any woman of any age, but like mainly like 18 to like 25, you should be reading it. you should be reading it, because there's probably quite a few that are going to speak to you on a deep level, and yeah. So that's my little spew about that. Go pick it up. I also read All Good Things by Emma Newman, the last book in the Split World series. You guys, it's over. This is the 5th book, by the way, and the last book, and I'm so sad. I found this series last year by chance when I was at Books A Million. I was just looking at the sci-fi fantasy aisle, and I saw the first book, Between Two Worlds, and I picked it up and I read the back, and it sounded so amazing. It was like a fae society called the Nether, and it was like, it had like the whole Victorian England thing going on and everything, and I was like, this sounds fantastic. So I bought the book on a whim. I read it and I was like, went back immediately and bought the next 3 books in this series, and then pre-ordered this, and then got it on the day it came out, and just this series has meant so much to me. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I think I gave all the books in this series a 5 out of 5 stars. It's fantastic. If you love like urban fantasy and like fae and supernatural creatures and all that stuff, you will really enjoy this. And also, it's got a great message about feminism in here, and just like speaking up for yourself and doing what's necessary to make sure that you are okay, and just, it's just really, really good. And I feel like everybody should read these, because they just have so much to them, and I feel like everybody can get something out of them. And there's also a talking gargoyle in here, so just, you know, little fun fact, so definitely should get it. Actually, I had a lot of 5-star reads this month, so yeah, because the last 3 I talked about were all 5 stars, and I'm like, wow. The next one I read was Textrovert by Lindsay Summers. I got this for like a deal on Kindle. It was like super cheap. And I had seen it in the bookstore and I was interested in it, but it's like a really short book. It's like 200 something pages, and it was like hardcover, and it was like $17.99. I'm like, I'm not paying that for this tiny book. And then I saw it for like on Kindle deals one day, and I was like, oh hey, I'll pay $1.99 for it, sure. So yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's just a cute little story about these 2 teenagers that end up switching phones because they're at a fair, and they end up leaving their phone, and then they both go back for their phone. They end up picking each other's up instead of their own, and so they end up texting each other, and it's something all like that. There's some drama that happens, blah 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 blah, typical YA contemporary. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable. I liked how fast it was, and I really liked the text conversations. They were pretty witty, but it wasn't anything spectacular. It's just a regular old YA contemporary, and that's not my genre. So the next book I read, I actually buddy read with Kristen and Danielle for the Emoji-a-thon, and that was Uprooted by Naomi Novik. And I enjoyed this. I feel like I would have, we took a little while to read this just because we were reading it together. I feel like if I had read it in like a day or 2, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. I don't know. I think this is a standalone, but like, I feel like there should be another book. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it wraps up, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of unanswered things, and I feel like there should be another book, but there's not. But I mean, it was still enjoyable. I did really like it. I really liked the world, and I liked the characters. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, it was pretty good, so yeah. The next book I read was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. And I read Simon vs. Homo sapiens like last year or the year before, and I really enjoyed it. And so I was dying to get this, and then finally my boyfriend bought it for me for my birthday, and then I finally got around to it this month for Emoji-a-thon, and I really enjoyed it. Molly's character was great. I really love her. And I really love, like, her family dynamic with her moms and her twin sister, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I just really liked it. Like I said, I'm not big into YA contemporaries, so I'm kind of like meh on them, but Becky Albertalli, she's definitely one of my faves, and she does a really good job with diversity and just with making her teenagers very believable and relatable. So I really do enjoy her books, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And it was a super quick read. Like, I got through it really fast. The next book I read was Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I got this from my library, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. Like, so good. I read it in, like, the span of, like, 3 hours before I went to work that day, and I really enjoyed it. I liked how the worlds were set. I liked how the world was set up, and I like how we were, like, told about the different worlds that each kid had gone to and the differences and kind of a little bit about the rules and stuff. And I'm really excited to read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is like about Jack and Jill's world that they were in. It's like a prequel, and I am living for it. I want it so bad. So I'm like crossing my fingers. Please let my library get it in very soon, because I really, really want to read it. So yeah. But yeah, it was really, really good, you guys. Like, I'm so happy I read it, and everybody should go read it, because it's only 169 pages, and it goes by so fast. Like, it's so easy to read. Okay, the next 8 things I read, I'm going to talk about together, because they're all in the same thing. And that would be Lumberjanes, volumes 1 through 8. I gave all of them 5 out of 5 stars, because they're fantastic. And they're by Noel Stevenson, just by the way. But it's about these 5 girls that go to summer camp, and they have like all these insane adventures, and they all almost get killed quite a few times. Not gonna lie. And basically they're like trying to do all these things, and you know, do them without like their little camp counselor Jen finding out, and it's funny. It's really funny. But yeah, I really enjoyed all these. I read these in like the span of like an afternoon. I had been seeing them. They're on Overdrive, and I was like, you know, I really want to try this. Everybody says these are great. And I read the first volume, and I was like, that was really good. And then there's still like 2 more volumes I haven't read yet that are on my Overdrive. I just wanted to take a break because I didn't want to run out of all of them at the same time, because then I'd be sad. So I took a break. But I really enjoyed these, and I'm excited to continue. And Ripley's my life. I love Ripley to death. Like, I will fight somebody for Ripley. Like, no lie. Love Ripley so much. Ripley is just everything. Everything. Love it. Okay. I love all the other characters too, but Ripley is definitely my favorite. Like, not gonna lie. But yeah. The next thing I read, also from the library, was Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carricher, which is the first book in the Finishing School series. I had recently watched Maddie and B's one of their vlogs, and Maddie had ended up reading it, and I had been wanting to read this for a while because I had heard about it from Haley in Bookland, and then Maddie was talking about it, and she liked it, and so I went to my library, and they have all the books in that series, so I grabbed the first one, and I read it, and I loved it. And yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a lot of fun, and I really like the characters. Like, Vivi is fantastic. Just an A++ character. Love Vivi to death. To death. Sorry, my throat was throwing that thing. But yeah, so I really enjoyed Etiquette and Espionage. The next thing I read was The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner. I've been wanting to read this because I've seen like the other books in this series like at the bookstore and everything, and I always thought they looked really interesting, but for some reason my bookstore sucks and they never had the first one, so I ended up grabbing this from Amazon, and this is like super short. It's only 280 pages, so I read this pretty quickly. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really like the main character, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next book, which I actually picked up today for my library because it was there and I got excited. So I picked that up, so I'll probably be reading that here pretty soon. Alright, the next book I read was Hunted by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. This is the 5th book in the House of Night series, which I've been rereading so that I can actually finish it this time. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a lot of fun. I got it done in like a day. I just love these characters, like with everything. And I forgot how much of a douchebag Requiem is at first. You only get sneak peeks of him in here. He's only in here for like literally 5 seconds, but I'm just like, oh, like it's like when his name popped up on one of these pages, I was like, baby, and then he said something like completely rude, and I was just like, it's okay, you're gonna get fixed, it's okay, baby, we're gonna be here for you. And I'm just like, I'm ridiculous, but he's one of my favorite characters in this entire series, so I'm ready for the next book, for when like his like redemption arc starts happening. I'm ready for it. I'm like, please, let's go. Also, Stark. I love Stark with everything. Like, he's like my actual favorite character of the series. Like, I am living, and I know, and I remember he's so present in the next book, and I am just so ready. And then also Heath, baby, is back. I'm ridiculous. But I was really attached to this series back when I was younger, so I'm just feeling all the feels again, loving all my babies again, so it's been a fun time. I'm really enjoying rereading this, so whatever. Trash me if you want. I don't care. Okay. The next book I read is actually a bit of a surprise, and that is The Selection by Kira Cass. I got this from Overdrive. I had to wait forever for it to be checked out to me because like everybody had a hold on it for some reason, which this came out in 2012. Why are people still having a hold on it? Like, go away, let me read it. So I finally got to read it. I also have a hold right now on the Elite, and I'm waiting for that to get checked out to me. But yeah, I gave The Selection 4 out of 5, and I've talked about it a bit in like some of my vlogs, so I'm not gonna say too much. Just like, I enjoyed it. I don't see why people think America's annoying. I completely understand what she's talking about. Like, she just wanted to stay home and be with her guy, and she didn't want to go to this election, and like, why does that make her annoying? Like, I feel like she's got her head on straight, you guys. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. I know I suck. I'm sorry. My phone is being stupid. Okay. The next book I read was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Battle of the Labyrinth, which is the 4th book. I read this in like a day, and it was really, really good. Really funny, like always. These are just so much fun. They're just such a good time. When I actually pick these up, I have such a good time reading them. They're so much fun. I love Percy. I love Annabeth. I love Grover. They're great. And I love Nico. Like, Nico is baby. And I'm so ready for the next series. The one that starts with Lost Hero, because I'm pretty sure people say that Nico is like really heavily in that one. I'm ready for that. But yeah, I gave Battle of the Labyrinth 4 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. The next book I read was from the library as well, and that is Wither by Lauren DeStefano. This is like a weird book about like a futuristic world where people die. Girls die at the age of 20 and guys die at the age of 25. So basically people like kidnap girls like that they're 16 or whatever, and they sell them to be married to these old guys. Well, not old guys, but like guys, like really prominent people or whatever. And then they become their wives, and then, you know, to procreate and blah blah blah, and people are like searching for an antidote so that they can actually start living longer and all this stuff. So yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and it went by super quickly. I got through it so fast. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I will be continuing on. I'm just gonna get the rest from my library. I just am waiting a little bit because I need a little break from it, because it was kind of taxing. It's pretty intense. So yeah. The next book I read was Someone Like You by Sarah Dessen, and I got this on another Kindle. Hold on. Sorry, my Alexa like heard me and don't know. Anyway, yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was kind of just like I would read it at on my phone when I was at work, when I like just needed to kind of do something. Like if I was on a lunch break or something, I would just kind of like do that, or you know. So that's what that was. Yeah, I'm, like I said, not into YA contemporary that much, but it was okay. Finally, the last book, Curtsies and Conspiracies by Gail Carriger, the second book in the Finishing School series. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It wasn't as great as the first one. It was still very enjoyable though. I think the third one's gonna be better, which I have checked out from the library, which I will be reading very, very soon, and yeah. I'm excited that I read it, and I'm excited to continue on with the series. So, that's all the things that I read in the month of June. Let me know down below what you read, and if you read any of the same things. Let me know your thoughts and all this stuff. Sorry this video was forever long, but I had 24 books to talk about, and it was ridiculous. I'm sorry. I know. Yeah. Oh, I have officially read 100 books for the year. Actually 101, because I just finished another book tonight, but like, yay. So I'm halfway through my reading challenge, because my reading challenge is 200 books, and we're halfway through the year, so I'm doing fantastic. Let me know if you guys are doing great on your reading challenge. I would like to know. Yeah, and I will see you later. Bye.